Hey everyone, my name's Steven. My co-founder Joao is there in the audience. I'm gonna try. Is it okay if we do like Q&A, like a few minutes of Q&A at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I will tell you what we're all about, and I will save 3 or 4 minutes at the end so that you all can ask questions. So we are Castle, and we are automating Bitcoin treasuries, and excited to dive in more and tell you what that means. The problem, which I imagine all of you are thinking about already, is that dollars are not a good way to save. And it turns out dollars have lost value for over 100 years. The money is broken, and it might have something to do with them printing more of them all the time and never stopping. And the sad place that has led us to is that savings accounts don't. Like, they don't work. It's become a misnomer. A savings account is sort of a borderline scam where it's framed in a way as if it is a high yield account and therefore you are getting ahead. And if you actually run the numbers, so this little cute table here is like the last 2 years, if a business had been just allocating monthly using a few different strategies, say putting everything into cash, putting everything into a high yield savings account, or introducing some Bitcoin into the picture, the returns on paper look fine when it's just nominal terms. But once you factor inflation into the picture, then things don't look as rosy. So that's where you realize that if you sat in cash, you didn't get 0%. You fell behind by almost 5%. And if you allocated to high yield savings accounts everything over the last couple of years on a monthly basis, you lost money. You lost purchasing power. You fell behind. And so you're not actually getting that 4% or 3.5% in real terms. And so we think that Bitcoin is the best way to save, but that it's also too hard for businesses to be successful with today. And part of what I mean by that with too hard is if you go out to a business owner and you ask them like, hey, owner, CFO, treasurer, how much money would you be comfortable putting in Bitcoin, like for the business? The answer that you will always get usually takes one of two forms. They'll say, well, we would put like 3% of our revenues into Bitcoin. Or maybe we'd put like 5% of our balance sheet into Bitcoin. And what's interesting is if you think about those two ways to allocate to Bitcoin, there hasn't really been a way to do that with software. To achieve either of these two things, you have to have humans go and like look at spreadsheets of how much money you made and click buttons and go to places that are kind of like Forex exchanges almost. And so it's a very just out of the way manual experience oftentimes. And even the language that those types of businesses use is just very different from like retail traders and individuals. And so the whole user experience is different when it's businesses, especially like cash flow, everyday businesses. We're not talking like Wall Street behemoths like Strategy or, retail traders or hedge funds, just everyday businesses that you walk by. The way they think about preserving their value, investing, if you will, is a whole different language that they speak. So we're building Castle. We are trying to automate Bitcoin treasuries, automate the allocation to Bitcoin as a savings technology. We do that in a handful of ways. Our platform is live. We have like customers using it right this second. We're happy to show you demos on our laptop later. We have this notion of a revenue automation where they can link up the systems they already use for payment and bookkeeping and tell us what percentage they want to put in Bitcoin. We have sweep account functionality to take any idle cash and just make sure it's not sitting there bleeding value. It automatically sweeps it into Bitcoin for them. Yes, you can do manual or recurring buys, of course. And then we have treasury management functionality. So if you wanted like never less than 5% of your holdings to be in Bitcoin and never more than 15%, then you just define those as thresholds. And the system will kind of make sure your treasury looks the way that you want. Easy access to liquidity if you need to pay bills. So click of a button, you can sell funds in your bank account at least by the following business day, but usually same day. And then just automate as much as possible with software, like the bookkeeping, the compliance, the KYB, know your business process. Business owners are often hustling and busy, especially small business owners are busy. And so every little bit of efficiency that we can bring to them with software is a really big deal that compounds meaningfully. This is like our homepage. So if you have an account on Castle, you log in, you have a dashboard that kind of looks the way you would expect. You can see the performance of your Bitcoin over time. We're never going to have candlestick charts in our product. Like, we don't want people thinking about this as a way to trade, trying to buy low and sell high. We think this is a gradual accumulation, long-term orientation game. And we're trying to encourage that in every part of our user experience. So to do this, we built integrations with pieces of software like this, products that business owners already use and know and trust. Stripe, Square, PayPal, Shopify, MindBody, which is a big one in the gym and fitness and wellness space, Clover, QuickBooks. We don't have anyone using the eBay integration yet. We wrote that one recently, but like power sellers could link up their account and get a percentage of what they're making in Bitcoin. And this is what that looks like. So in our UI, you basically connect whatever source of revenue you want. You select it. There's a linking step where you would like type in your authentication credentials for whatever system that is. And then boom, link is created in a couple of minutes. And then we just give you a little slider bar that you can drag that tells us how much of the money you're making you want to go into Bitcoin. We also have the concept of a sweep account. I don't know if anyone's encountered that in the TradFi sense, but it's basically a way to set a threshold in your checking account. So a business owner could say, $10,000 is the threshold, and then we monitor the account. And any time that there's more than $10,000 in the account, we sweep the excess into Bitcoin. So it's a way to ensure that there's no idle cash that you don't need for day-to-day operations, just sitting there bleeding value. This is the meme version of what we do. So businesses are out there and they're like working hard and they're trying to create value for people and they are getting paid in broken money. And we are trying to give them a seamless and automated way to protect themselves from that and to choose with precision how much value they receive in Bitcoin. We raised $1 million pre-seed earlier this year from people that were really grateful to have believing in us. It was led by Boost VC here around the Bay Area, Winklevoss Capital, Epoch VC, and Park Rangers. And then some awesome angels as well. The last 12 months, we built this thing, released it. We did a private beta with 10 businesses that were kind of our early adopter cohort and believers. There's been about 100K of transaction volume just using that revenue automation feature specifically. That's about $1 million worth of volume that's been converted to Bitcoin automatically. And importantly, we have obtained heart emojis in the feedback from our users, which is very much a North Star to us, because at this stage, we want to just be sure we're doing something that's genuinely useful. And in the next 12 months, we are going to go higher in the market. We're serving small businesses right now. Every business on our platform is a small business. And we are in dialogue with larger corporate partners to kind of function as design partners and have a pro tier offering with some different economics around it and a whole different set of integrations for the tools that larger companies use. And we believe we can hit 50K in monthly revenue by that point. And then, of course, AI is something that we are thinking a lot about. And I think, we all probably realize that AI is just fundamentally changing the way that we might interact with software. As smooth as our slider bar is, I think that the era of pointing and clicking in web browsers to get stuff done might be coming to an end soon. And so we just want to make sure that we're positioned for that future very well. And this is us. So I lived here in the Bay Area for 10 years, worked at eBay, cloud computing space in 2012, and an AI company called Nirvana Systems about 10 years ago that was acquired by Intel. I've been pretty active in investing into early stage companies, and the Bitcoin sector has been a big emphasis of that. And I love community building. Like Bitcoin meetups were such a special part of my personal journey. I've tried to do a lot of that as well. My co-founder Joao has previously co-founded a company you might have heard of called OpenNode. They were pioneering lightning payments for Bitcoin and raised money from some great investors. There are 34 million small businesses in the US alone, and not that many hold Bitcoin yet. Maybe, and Square, by the way, shout out to Square, because this is an incredible week for merchant adoption in businesses, and so we love to see it. This is going to get a lot more business owners thinking about this concept, and it's frankly just like the most exciting stuff that I've seen in my decade plus of Bitcoinery so far. So not many businesses hold Bitcoin yet, and that is a lot of opportunity. So let's go. And then I'll probably have time for like 2 questions, maybe.
Let's do a quick one. Who's got one?
Yes.
All right. So I know you said you don't want to be a trading platform. I think I can speak loud enough everybody can hear me, but I know you said you don't want to be a trading platform, but I have to ask 2 questions regarding the funds that are being allocated towards Bitcoin, which is first, and this is a no-brainer, I'm sure you're going to answer, yeah, sure, is when it's allocated, it can go into a DCA account and then do dollar cost averaging for the actual acquisition, yes?
I'm glad that you asked. So yes, like we do support DCAs in the form that they've existed for a while. Like you can set up a recurring buy of a fixed price. And then our revenue product, I guess it's technically a new form of DCA, or similar to what Square has also released recently, where that percentage of the revenue you're making is effectively dollar cost averaging. And as the business owner, you can choose the settlement time frame. So your options are daily, weekly, or monthly.
Okay, and then the other question would be regarding limit orders. So if, for instance, I have a target at which I would feel FOMO if I failed to sell some of my Bitcoin, then some of my business's Bitcoin, if I were, in charge of setting the policy for such a thing, I would like to be able to say, well, if it hits 150 tomorrow, I'd really like to sell about half of it to, be able to pick up some on the inevitable following dip. So do you support that yet, or will you? And those are my 2 questions.
Great question. And we actually, that'll have to be the last question, by the way. I realize the timer is blinking at me. We don't support limit orders today. Never say never, but we don't have any plans to support limit orders anytime soon. We'll probably have to support things like TWAP type things for larger corporates just for volume-based reasons. But if they really wanted limit orders today, then platforms like Kraken or River or something like that's probably a better fit.
What's TWAP?
Like the time weighted, if you basically wanted to put like $200 million into Bitcoin, but not all at once, then it's a way to automatically kind of chip away at that over time. Cool. Thanks for the question.
All right. Give it up for Stephen Castle. Thank you.